Okay, good evening, guys. I'm gonna update. I hadn't done it for a few days, so I wanted to update YMAG, YMAX, and Ulti predictions. Actually, not a lot has changed. Certainly, there's been buy-in to the shares, but I almost could leave it exactly as I had predicted it. The shares are doing almost exactly like I thought they would. So just a quick reminder to everybody. So here's what's forthcoming for you guys getting the dividends. Now, some of you already own it and are just tuning in to see what you're going to get paid in terms of a prediction. But for those of you that want to own it and don't own it, here's what the situation is. They declare on the morning of the 16th, which is Tuesday morning on the calendar. So that means you can buy it anytime on Tuesday. Now, I've never verified that you can buy in after hours and get it. People have told me that. So I always buy pre-market or the day of declaration if I wait that long, right? Normally I don't. But I get it because some people want to know what the payout is. But for YMAG and YMAX, we can be very accurate with this based on share count, right? So when they once they declare what they're going to pay the 20-something funds and we know what's included, then you can do the math. The only thing that remains is the 6 or 7 trading days leading up to that. So I came out with a range for YMAX and a range for YMAG and then told you what I wanted to do. And I actually had 74, I think, here. And I had 66. So let me show you the work I did. Ulti is less, not dependent on what the share count is, right? I mean, it is somewhat in people buying in the fund, but nowhere near where there's a fixed amount of money already collected like there are in YMAG and YMAX, right? The only money they make is on all their holdings of the single stock fund. So they're only going to distribute what they got collected. The only thing that's unknown is how many shareholders do they have divided by the total amount of money. So I think I got lucky and used a little skill, and my estimations look like they're almost spot on. So I'll run through that so you know there's something to it besides just pulling, something out of the air. So let's take YMAX. So this was the amount of money, right? This was the per share distribution. This is the share count, percentage of the fund, and then we add up all of the money for July. So I came out and said, okay, I think on the 3rd, there were 13,200,000 shares, right? And why the 3rd was important was that was declaration date. So we knew exactly how much was paid. So I took the share count at the end of that day. And then I sort of estimated that it could get as high as 14. My best guess was around 14,916. So now I come in here and I say, okay, at the end of the day on the 11th, I could now see there's 14,250,000 shares. So I say, okay, well, that's 1,050,000 in this run up to declaration day, right? People are well tuned in. So I said, what's that an average? So now this average is a pretty good average as opposed to going out and saying how many shares are bought on an average day in 30 days. I don't think it's relative to that close period. So I came up with 210 and I said, okay, how many more days can they buy it before it distributes? Well, it's 2 more days. So I just simply do the math of saying, okay, 14,250 plus another 42,000 gets me to 14,660, and then I better give a cushion, right? So I give another 100,000. I mean, you could easily do another 200,000, which really gets you close to my original number estimate. And I just went with this one right now, and it's 6602. It could well surge here on that last day and do 200, 300. It's going to only change this by about a penny, right? You're not talking about much money at all on this. Look, when I went to 4916, it's 65 cents versus 66 cents. So that's what I had. There's no reason for me to really change it. So I left 66 alone. Tiny change on YMAG. And now I can't remember if it was 74 or 73, but my YMAG should tell you. So what I did on that one, here's June. I came down here and said, okay, on the 7th of July, there were 5,249,187 shares. And based on that data, would be a 78-cent payout. Okay. And then I started going down and saying, okay, now it's 5.4, right? 5,400,000. And I figured out the math of that is 150,813 per day. There's 2 more days. So that says, divide and by the 4 days on this run up, 1, 2, 3, 4, says 150,000 a day. Well, I better give an additional cushion in there. So I added the 2 more days. And whoops, did I do that correctly? No, because 5, 4, yeah, oh yeah, 300,000. Whoops, this isn't E22 plus, oh yeah, I didn't do that right. Plus B23. Oh, okay, 37,000. Sorry, guys. That's yeah, it's only 37,700 on the buy-in, so I did do the math correctly. So I would say that maybe this gets in the 73s, right? Because this last minute buy-in here could be 100, 150,000 more. Let's do that number. Because that's the problem, you get right up to that date. Yeah, I need to change it here. 72.4. So I'm pretty comfortable mid 72s to 73. Okay, for YMAG. So let's go back to the prediction and I'll just say 73. How's that? Which is ironically what I had before I even started this exercise. Now, you're going to think, Bruce, why are you even doing a video? Because I want you to know that I'm looking at this stuff and paying attention. Now, this is the wild child. This is absolutely the wild child, Mr. Ulty. I'm not even sure it has a pronoun. This thing is just a beast of its own, right? It's a science experiment, right? So it's funny almost. So just a couple things for you guys. So what I did notice, they added AMD. Okay. And they added Tesla, which haven't been in that fund for quite a while. They may have had AMD in there temporarily, but so AMD's in there. I love AMD and they're doing pretty well. Tesla had a big down day yesterday, but it was so overbought. I was expecting it at any time, and it may go down another 10% from the 8% yesterday. I couldn't be more bullish on Tesla over 6 months, a year, 5 years. I mean, again, I see 500 on Tesla probably in 6 to 12 months, easily. And then from 500, it can pull back to, 380 and then run to 1,000, right? So all of these waves produce big impulse waves, retracements. It's probably $1,500 to 3,000 within 5 years. That's how much value it has. The car company alone probably justifies $500. Then you got FSD, you got the robo-taxi, you got the humanistic robots. That's probably a 3 or 4 trillion market cap alone. They're just so, anybody that hasn't seen Neuralink, that experiment with people using their mind to cause their brain right on a computer to perform functions. So you don't do it with your eyeballs. You do it by thinking, I want to move the mouse here. So people that have, that couldn't even control their bodies can now have artificial limbs and things do what their mind wants them to do. Now, some of that existed, but it's just some fabulous tech that Elon has got going. So who knows where and how much value that Tesla maintains at. Once he got his contract and his money, I think he's letting loose with a lot of things. So anyway, I still see $1.03. Ulti's been moving up some. It's still pretty low and had a lot of NAV erosion. So there I am, guys, 66 cents, 73 cents, and $1.03. Hey, have a great one. That's all I got for you. Now, again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Bye for now.